Hare Krishna. So today, on this auspicious day of Shiv Ratri, which is widely celebrated across India, I would like to discuss something about the subject matter uh, from what has been mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Something about Lord Shiva. The devotees of Lord Krishna are more dear to Lord Shiva than his devotees. This is something very interesting, right? So the devotees of Lord Krishna are more dear to Lord Shiva than his devotees himself. How do we understand this? A simple example. Who do you think is more dear to Lord Shiva, Ravana or Hanuman? So why does this happen? And why is it so?
Manji.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, so this is how we understand this tattva of Lord Shiva. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in many skandhas, the mention of Lord Shiva is there, including his pastimes, be it the discussion between uh, Sati and Lord Shiva, about how he kills Daksha, beheads Daksha, by sending his emissary, Veerabhadra. Now, this mention comes in the Bhagavatam. Then there is how Mother Parvati, when she curses Chitraketu, Lord Shiva, how he expresses his appreciation for the devotees of Lord Narayan, how they remain undisturbed in every state of life. He glorifies the position of the devotees of Lord Vishnu, as somebody who is so superior to anyone in this material world. Yeah, Narayana Parasarveva, that beautiful verse. Yeah. For them, they don't find any difference between heaven or hell or uh, any state of life. Yeah. Kutaschana bibhyati. They're not fearful in any situation of life. Yeah. Why? Because they're surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord. So, in a very interesting way, he corrects Mother Parvati and explains the glory of the devotees of Lord Vishnu. So, there's a beautiful section in the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then again, in the sixth canto, there is this mention of the prachetas. So, this is the section we are going to study today in the context of Rudra Gita. So, prachetas are the sons of Prachini Barhi. So, Prachini Barhi is the grandson of King Maharaj Prithu. So, the prachetas, they're 10 in number, they're 10 sons of Prachini Barhi. So, Prachini Barhi is the king, and he instructs his sons to get married to rule the kingdom. So generally, when your father is instructing you to get married, what's the first thing you do? You go around looking for a bride. But the prachetas are quite different. What did they do? Together, they set into the world to perform tapasya. Yeah. So what is required to get the right bride? First, perform good austerities, and that's when you find the right person. Yeah. So that's how the prachetas together set out to perform tapasya, penances, and to attain the darshan of Lord Vishnu. They're all, the entire lineage, they're all devotees of Lord Vishnu. It's coming in their parampara. So as they set out, they walked uh, along for a long, long time. And the Bhagavatam describes that they finally came to a place, a beautiful lake, a really beautiful, beautiful lake, which is full of lotuses. And these lotuses are of different types. Yeah, there are lotuses that bloom in the nights, and there are lotuses that bloom in the morning. Yeah, because some of the lotuses are sensitive to the touch of the sun's rays. When the sun's rays fall upon the lotus, they blossom. And there are other species of lotuses which, upon the touch of the moon's rays, fully blossom. So, this beautiful lake, which is quite unusual, was filled with these different lotuses. of all kinds. And they were so fragrant. And the wind was carrying the saffron particles that were the pollen that was coming from these lotuses. It was a very, very serene atmosphere. It was a serene pond. Yeah. So generally, the water bodies are either, agitated, or sometimes they're very serene. Sometimes in transcendental meditation, the instructor instructs the meditator to meditate on a serene lake. So why is it? It's a very beautiful meditation. The Shastras also compare a serene lake with no waves or ripples. They compare it to the state of mind of a pure devotee. A devotee's mind is like a serene lake because it is free from agitations, free from the agitations of desire and hate, free from the agitations of desire for honor and prestige, free from the dualities of life. Yeah. Pleasure and pain, heat and cold, honor, dishonor. These are the dualities which always keep the mind in an agitated state. But a devotee's mind who is situated firmly in a state of devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord, his mind is unagitated. His intelligence is fixed. It is called steadfast. Yeah. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha gurunandana. Bahushaka hi anantasya buddhayo avyavasayinam. So such intelligence is called vyavasayatmika buddhi as per Bhagavad Gita. That is no distractions. The intelligence is fixed on purpose, one goal. And everything that person does is in alignment with that one goal. Such an intelligence is single pointed, free from distractions. So these are the people who don't who have no confusions in life. Yeah. So Bahushaka hi anantasya, that means the multi-branched intelligence is for those people whose intelligence is carried away for desire for bhoga and aishwarya. So this is the analogy of that serene lake, which is free from ripples and in which the beautiful lotuses were blossoming. And around this beautiful lake, there were many auspicious birds like the swans, the charvakas, the karandakas. So these are very beautiful birds which actually are spotted around pure waters. So it's interesting to see that even the waters are of different types. When the waters are clear and pure, the auspicious birds, flock around such water bodies. When the waters are impure, are full of dirt or mud, the kind of fauna, that you find around it is quite different. It's the mosquitoes that inhabit, the worms, the crows, and other inauspicious birds, which are of lower nature. So this is that very pure water body, which is surrounded by auspicious birds. And then it was quite evident that this is not an earthly realm. So these prachetas have reached an unearthly realm. Yeah, it's beyond the realm of earth. And as they were absorbed in this serenity of nature, all of a sudden they started hearing the sound of drums and trumpets, very symphonic music. So as they were hearing this mellifluous music, and they started hearing the chantings and praises to Lord Shiva. So as they were watching, Lord Shiva, along with his associates, he sprang from this water body and gave his darshan. So that was a very, very vivid, beautiful, auspicious darshan. Imagine, you're walking on your way and you have had the darshan of Lord Shiva himself. He's effulgent. It's the complexion of molten gold with the beautiful bluish black mark on his neck. So, and this was, so when this happened in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vidura inquired from Maitreya, personality Lord of like Lord Shiva is so inaccessible to mortals. Did you ever hear of any of the normal human beings directly getting in touch with Lord Shiva? Quite impossible, right? So Vidura inquired from Maitreya, how is it that the Prachetas, who are the sons of a king, a mortal being, could get this direct access and darshan of Lord Shiva? Quite unusual. So Vidura began, then Maitreya began to explain, yes, what you said is right. Yeah. A person, a very human birth in itself is very rare. And a person who perfects the human birth by performing his swadharma perfectly well for 100 births can attain the ability of associating with Lord Brahma. And to get the association of Lord Shiva is even more difficult than that. Yes. So this is so for the ordinary person. But for a devotee of Lord Vishnu, who has a pure heart, who has nothing but a fervor of unalloyed devotion towards the Lord, easily is favored by Ashutosh, Lord Shiva. So in simple words, if a person is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, they are easily, favored by Lord Shiva. That is why Lord Shiva, although these prachetas were in search of Lord Vishnu, he personally himself came to give his association to them and instruct them on how to actually reach Lord Vishnu. This is the personality of Lord Shiva. Yeah, that is why he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, the greatest of all Vaishnavas. Yes, unasked. Yeah, he knew that they were searching for Lord Vishnu and he wanted to instruct them as to how to get there. And this is when Lord Shiva comes and praises them for their beautiful qualities. Yeah. And Lord Shiva is especially because most of the people who approach Lord Shiva is to have their material desires fulfilled. See in the entire Itihasas. Yeah. People like Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. But what was his content and intent? Very tragic. So why everybody approached Lord Shiva? Because Lord Shiva is Ashutosh, easily pleased. Yes. And he's also the in charge of Shakti, material potency. So he can easily bestow material benedictions. And when once pleased, he doesn't discriminate. Sometimes he ends up also giving benedictions that are quite detrimental. Like the benediction given to Vrikasura, that that if he touches the head of somebody, that person would die. And he began to chase Lord Shiva himself. So this is Lord Shiva's personality. Quite once pleased, he doesn't discriminate. And these materialists take advantage of that nature of Lord Shiva. One who is easily pleased, and they worship him for fulfilling one's own material desires, which are endless. Yeah. So on the other hand, Lord Vishnu, he operates a little differently. He bestows what the devotee needs, not what he wants. A little different. So this is, the amazing personality of Lord Shiva. And that's when he begins to instruct these prachetas out of compassion and out of so much of love for them. Because Prabhupada explains in the purports that he is more favorable to the devotees of Lord Vishnu than his own devotees, because he himself is a devotee of Lord Vishnu and is a surrendered devotee. He highly appreciates those who are beginning to develop that devotion for Lord Vishnu. And another interesting thing here is the Prachetas are still on their way to Lord Vishnu. They haven't attained him. Yeah. So as sadhakas, we or as practitioners of bhakti who are not yet there, not yet perfected, even they make a lot of advancement by receiving the favors of Lord Shiva. In fact, that is why Lord Shiva is called one of the 12 Mahajans. Yeah. So Mahajano Yena Gatastu Pantas. The scriptures recommend that to attain perfection, one should follow the footsteps of the Mahajans. Yeah. And Bhagavatam describes there are 12 Mahajans. Yeah. Swayambhur. Swayambhur is Lord Brahma. Yeah. Then Shambhu. Shambhu is Lord Shiva. And there is Kapila. And there is uh, the Kumaras, the Chatush Kumaras. Then there is Narada. Yeah. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu. Then Kapila, and then the Kumara, Kapila, Manu. Manu is the Swayambhu Manu. These are the six, and then six more. Who are they? Then we have Bhishmo, Prahlado, Bhishmo, Janaka. Prahlad Maharaj, Bhishma Dev, then Janak Maharaj, who's the father of Mother Sita. Then Bali Maharaj. Yeah. And Yamaraj. So these are the 12 Mahajans. And one is supposed to follow in the footsteps. When you follow in the footsteps of these 12 Mahajans, we attain the perfection. So Shambhu, Lord Shiva, is considered one among these 12 Mahajans. So that is why to follow his instructions is very auspicious. So on this day of Lord Shiv Ratri, we will try to look into these beautiful instructions that Lord Shiva has given the Prachetas in the form of Rudra Gita. I will not be able to complete all the prayers because there are a lot of them. At least we will recite a few, and during the day, perhaps you can catch up with the remaining and read the ecstatic purports of Srila Prabhupada to each of these verses. They're all beautiful meditations. Each verse in itself is so amazing to delve into. Yeah. So let me share my screen to recite the Rudra Gita. Yeah. So this comes in the 4th canto, 24th chapter, 33rd verse. Shri Rudra Uvacha Jitam ta atma vidvarya swastai swastirastu me bhavatarādha sāradham sarvasma atmani namaha. So Lord Shiva addressed the personality of Godhead with the following prayer. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories unto you. You're the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you're always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of the all-perfect instructions you give. You are the super soul. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you as the supreme living being. So generally, there are so many confusions about Shiva Tattva, about who is Lord Shiva and is Lord Shiva supreme or Lord Vishnu the supreme. So the Brahma Samhita gives a very beautiful understanding out of how to understand Shiva Tattva. So Shiva Tattva is quite different from the Jiva Tattva. For example, Lord Brahma belongs to the Jiva Tattva. That is, a Jiva can, perform all those austerities, tapasyas, and attain all perfections, and they can even finally become Brahma. Yeah, Brahma actually is a post, it's not a person. Just like the president is a post and not a person. Yeah. But no matter what a Jivatma does, he can never become Lord Shiva. Yes, because Shiva Tattva is quite different. But unfortunately, there are many um, philosophies that exist which are now, far from realities. They say Shivoham, that I am that Lord Shiva. Yeah, I merge into Lord Shiva, etc. So, so actually, this is they're offshoots of misinterpretations of Mayavad philosophies. So this Mayavad philosophy actually was propounded by Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, who came in the period post-Buddhism. Yeah. So Buddhism, the Lord has appeared as Lord Buddha for a purpose. That purpose was, it was a period of time that so many people, especially the Brahmanas, were misutilizing the Vedic injunctions to promote animal violence. They were totally off, they were totally misinterpreting the Vedas, proving their vicious activities. Most prominent of that being violence to animals. Yeah. So to stop that, the Lord himself has come as Lord Buddha, and for a period of time, he has taken the Vedas away from the picture. Yeah. And he spoke about the principles of non-violence. So he attained the mission, he completed his mission, and he has left the world. And post that, in order to establish the relevance of Vedas, that was when Adi Shankaracharya came with the mission. And when he came with this mission, he established the relevance of Vedas and Shastras. At the same time, he propounded the Advaitavad. Advaitavad is monistic philosophy, which propounds that Jivatma and Paramatma are one in quality and quantity. Yeah, so that one merges with the other. But it was something that had to serve the purpose at that time to establish the Vedas. But if you carefully see, the same Adi Shankaracharya, towards the end of his instructions, have written very beautiful compositions establishing the position of Lord Krishna. Yeah, in his famous composition of Bhaja Govinda. Yeah, he explains that there is nothing more auspicious in this realm, in this material world, or in any form of existence than to simply chant the names of Govinda. Yeah, there's this beautiful words that say, Samprapye sannihite kale, nahi nahi rakshati dudrung karane. Yeah, when you're actually approaching the final stages of your life, that is death, the great vyakaranas and the scholarliness that you have, the perfections that you have attained in your literature, that will not help you at the time of your death. So what will really help you at the time of your death? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Yeah. Iha samsare, kalunishtare, kripaya pare, pahi murare. So there's a beautiful outpourings of a devotional heart wherein Adi Shankara is pouring that, oh mind, just, mudha mate, my mind, which is mudha, which is foolish, ignorant. It's always running around so many foolish things. It's chasing after so many desires. That is why it is mudha. Yeah. What do you have to do? Simply chant the names of Govinda. Yeah. So it's an instruction, manas siksha, instruction to one's own mind. That is what these Bhaja Govindam prayers are. And these are the compositions of Shankaracharya. Yeah. And in Gita Mahatmya, which is, we have read so many beautiful verses where Adi Shankaracharya has declared that the Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. There is only one Shastra, that is Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. And there's one God who is Lord Krishna himself. Yeah. Eko mantrastasya namani yani. There's only one mantra. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And there is only one thing to do. Tasya devasya seva. Just render devotional service unto him. Declared very clearly. So unfortunately, many of the followers are distracted from these conclusions. So this is the heart of Lord Shiva. He's himself completely absorbed in his trance of being in, he's always in that samadhi of in his absorption in Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna. So here he is offering his respects to Lord Krishna as the super soul of every living entity. So yeah, so how do we understand Shiva Tattva? So the Brahma Samhita explains Kshiram Yatha Dadi Vikara Vishesha Yogat. That is, if Lord Krishna is compared to milk, it is the easiest analogy to understand, Lord Shiva and Krishna. Lord Krishna is like milk. Curd is like the transformation of the milk. Similarly, Lord Shiva is the transformation of Lord Krishna. Yeah, Krishna is the origin. It's like the pure milk. So milk, when you add a drop of souring agent and keep it in the night undisturbed, the next day it turns into curd. So similarly, the milk, look, Krishna Tattva, who is in Vasudeva Sattvam, when it's imbued by ignorance, and this ignorance is not the material mode, it's different, it's transcendental, it's not to be confused. Lord Shiva is in charge of the mode of ignorance, but he is not subjected to the mode of ignorance. It's different. And so when this Shuddha Sattva is imbued by the mode of ignorance, so that's when it turns into Shiva Tattva. So that's the origin of Lord Shiva. The very name Shiva means all auspicious. He brings all auspiciousness to this material world and to whoever takes shelter of him. So Lord Shiva here is addressing the Lord as the Paramatma, one who is situated in the heart of every living entity. So let's go to the next verse. नमः पङ्कजनाभाय भूतसूक्ष्मेन्द्रियात्मने वासुदेवाय शान्ताय कूटस्थाय स्वरोचिषे. My Lord, you are the origin of the creation by virtue of the lotus flower which sprouts from your navel. You are the supreme controller of the senses and the sense objects. And you're also the all-pervading Vasudeva. You're most peaceful, and because of your self-illuminated existence, you are not disturbed by the 6 kinds of transformations. Yeah, so here Lord Shiva is further expressing his glorification. Interestingly, whenever we see the glorifications offered by different devotees of Srimad Bhagavatam, like we were reading the Gajendras, the prayers of Gajendras. So as they begin offering their prayers, interestingly, they all point to Lord Krishna's position as the origin. The origin. In fact, that's the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Yato Itarascha Teshvabhigyasvarat. Yeah, Janmadhyasya. That means from He, who is the absolute truth. The absolute truth is one from whom Janmadi, everything else has originated. He is the supreme origin, and there is no other origin beyond him. That is the definition of absolute truth. That is the definition of God. Yeah. And in all the prayers by great devotees, they point to that aspect of the Supreme Lord as the origin. And it is very important to meditate on that aspect of the Lord as the supreme origin of everything. Because we begin to understand our connection to Him when we meditate on this aspect of the Lord as the supreme origin of everything around us, the cosmos, the living entities, the material nature, the spiritual nature. So everything emanating from Him. This is a beautiful meditation as it aligns ourselves with our, source. So connecting with our source, even in that consciousness, it's very healing, and it frees us from unnecessary upadhis, the occupations that we have acquired by identifying ourselves with this body. Yeah, it brings us out of our false ego. Yeah, so egos are of two types. There is false ego and there is right ego. Yeah, a person cannot be egoless, although we say that. Yeah, what is false ego? When we identify ourselves with our body, we are situated in a false ego. It's dangerous. Yeah. And so a person situated in his true identity. Ego means identity. Yeah, in psychology also there is this word called ego. What is ego? Ego means identity. What are we identifying with? You're identifying with your body, you're in false ego. You're identifying yourself as the soul, and Jivera Swarupahoy, Krishnera Nityadasa, eternal servant of Krishna, you're situated in the right ego. So this, reinstating oneself in one's true nature comes by meditating on the Supreme Lord as the supreme origin. Yeah, so this is a beautiful meditation to understand the Lord as the origin of everything. So I'll just read a couple of verses more. And I highly recommend, please go through the purpose during the day. Yeah. And here, something very interesting in this particular verse. Sankarshanaya sukshmaya durantayattakaya cha namo vishwa prabodhaya pradyumnayantaratmane. My dear Lord, you're the origin of the subtle material ingredients, the master of all integration as well as the master of all disintegration, the predominating deity named Sankarshana, and the master of all intelligence, known as the predominating deity Pradyumna. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. So this is Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Sankarshana. This is the first quadruple expansion of the Supreme Lord. So this is, Lord Shiva, after addressing the Lord as a supreme origin, is speaking about his different expansions. Yeah, the first expansion, Lord Krishna is Lord Balaram, and from Balaram comes his first quadruple expansion, and from the first quadruple expansion comes another quadruple expansion, and then from Sankarshana comes the Mahavishnu, from whom the material creation begins. So Lord Shiva is connecting to all those residing deities of creation. So, and Namo Namo Niruddhaya Hrishikeshendriyatmane Namah Paramahamsaya Purnaya Nibhritatmane. My Lord, as the supreme directing deity known as Aniruddha, you're the master of the senses and the mind, and therefore offer my obeisances unto you again and again. You are known as Ananta as well as Sankarshana because of your ability to destroy the whole creation by the blazing fire from your mouth. Yeah. Swargapavargadvaraya nityam shuchishade namaha namo hiranya viryaya chaturhotraya tantave. So, O Aniruddha, so he's addressing the form of the Lord as Aniruddha. You are the authority by which the doors of the higher planetary systems and liberation are open. You're always within the pure heart of the living entity. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. You are the possessor of semen which is rich like gold. Thus, in the form of fire, you help the Vedic sacrifices, beginning with Chaturhotra. Therefore, I offer my obeisance unto you. So, it is said that one person who leaves body in Kashi, is attains mukti, attains liberation. Lord Shiva promises liberation to a person who dies and in the holy place of Kashi, Varanasi. So why is that and how is that? It is explained that Lord Shiva personally goes and chants the name of Aniruddha, of Lord Krishna, in his ears. So the giver of liberation is only Krishna himself. That is why the name Mukunda. Mukunda means one who gives liberation. Only Lord Krishna can award liberation. And Lord Shiva, on behalf of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, awards that liberation to somebody who takes shelter of him by actually chanting the names of Lord Krishna in the ears of those who are leaving their body in the holy places, kshetras like Varanasi. Yeah. Nama ujjaishe trayaha pataye yajya retase triptidaya cha jivanam namah sarvarasatmane. Very, very beautiful verse this is, prayer, where Lord Shiva is addressing Lord Krishna as Triptidaya. Very important. Let's see the beautiful translation. My Lord, you're the provider of the Pitrilokas as well as the demigods. You are the predominating deity of the moon and the master of all the three Vedas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are the original source of satisfaction for all living entities. Yeah, so Lord Shiva is addressing the Lord as the original source of satisfaction, Triptidaya. So one's senses are enamored very much by the titillations of this material nature. They're always attracted by the glitters what this material world offers. The eyes always want to see something beautiful, ears want to hear something beautiful, tongue wants to taste something beautiful. But when the Lord is, but oftentimes after chasing all these, things, at the end of the day, none of us are satisfied. The heart is not satisfied. Isn't that true? I mean, a person may be the richest, but still so morose. He might be having access to all the gadgets, all the best food, best holiday destinations, best, scenic places, yeah, the best of people around him. But still, a person may be, so disheartened, so dissatisfied. Why? Tripti. He's not achieving, he or she is not feeling that satisfaction in the heart. Here, Lord Shiva is pointing to that satisfaction, that aspect of Lord Krishna as Triptidaya, the giver of satisfaction. Yeah. So the classic example is the Mahaprasad of the Lord. Yeah. One may, eat the best of cuisines, try out, the all the cuisines of the world, but still the tongue is always asking for more. Yeah, that is the nature of the senses. The senses always want something else and something more. How much ever you feed them, it's like adding fuel to the fire. They're never satiated. So this satiation comes only by connecting to the Lord. Yeah, because he's a Triptidaya, the giver of that satiation. And that is actually, there's a beautiful story in the Puranas about the origin of the Mahaprasad. This is often told, when you're narrating the pastimes of Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad. So if the tongue is satisfied by accepting the prasadam of the Lord, that means one has conquered this material world. The tongue is the most dangerous. It's just 2 by 4 inches, but it's the most dangerous organ. Yeah, it is to satisfy that tongue. We have taken so many births. Yeah, to subdue the tongue, only Krishna can do it in the form of his Mahaprasad. So initially it may be a austerity to simply honor the Mahaprasad of the Lord and be satisfied. But over a period of time, that Mahaprasad can actually remove all the inauspicious elements of the heart. Yeah. So Sharira Avidya Jal, this whole body is a network of ignorance. Avidya Jal. Yeah. Jadendriya Tahinkal. So Tara madhye jihvati, in that, the tongue is the most dangerous. It's always demanding. So when can these senses and this body be spiritualized? It is by strictly, accepting Mahaprasad of the Lord and being satisfied with it. Initially, it might start as a tapasya, but later, the kind of purification it brings us, it's very amazing. Yeah. So we start experiencing that connection, tripti, that satiation. All the material hankerings become subdued. It's a very powerful process. Simply offering the bhoga to the Lord, accepting the Mahaprasad, and being satisfied with that Mahaprasad in itself is sufficient for us to conquer this material world. Prabhupada used to say, "Hum prasad khate khate golok jayenge." You know? So, because the Mayavadis have so many programs of austerities and all this, the devotees, you don't have to do that. Offer nice bhoga to the Lord, enjoy the Mahaprasad, and be satisfied with it. Don't hanker, run around for more. Be satisfied with it. And eventually, we win over the material nature. So I will end here, maybe with the last verse. One final. Yeah. Sarvasatvatma-dehaaya visheshaya स्थवीयसे नमस्त्रैलोक्यपालाय सह ojo balaya cha. My dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form which contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. You are the maintainer of the three worlds, and as such, you maintain the mind, senses, body, and air of life within them. I therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto you. So, in this verse, Lord Shiva is addressing the Lord as the supreme universal gigantic body, which actually contains all the material bodies. Yeah. So this body is, when this mind and senses are distracted, yeah, and when they are not spiritualized, then the individual bodies are utilized for, more and more entanglement into this material world. Yeah. So Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam. The purpose of the senses is to serve Hrishikesha, the Lord of the senses. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada very beautifully writes in the purport of this particular verse that the way to end this material entanglement is to actively engage in the service of the Lord. And interestingly, although we conclude that yes, it is by devotional service to the Lord that I am going to get out of this entanglement and, advance on the path of spirituality, just by understanding that, it is not sufficient. Yeah. It takes the mercy of the Lord for one to begin the devotional service. That is why Lord Shiva here is appealing to the Lord. Yeah. For the mercy of the Lord. Because that although we might understand that it is by devotional service, I disentangle myself and I walk forward on the path of liberation. Such understanding is not sufficient. It happens by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that one is engaged in bhakti. That is why we see so many devotees, they hear, they understand, they realize also. Yes, this is where I understand that I'm stuck. I understand karma and I understand all the process. But somehow I'm not getting there. I'm not following. I'm not giving my time. And my priorities have not changed. I'm unable to prioritize. Why does this happen? It's because it takes the mercy of the Lord to actually begin the process of devotional service. And this mercy comes by offering prayers. That is why prayers are so important. Yeah. So one devotee once asked my Guru Maharaj, what is the secret of your success? So my spiritual master said, oh, it's prayers. The prayers can change a person's life because it revolutionizes, it transforms the consciousness. And until this consciousness is transformed, our practices remain superficial. So on this auspicious day of Shiv Ratri, I urge, please take out time to complete these beautiful verses of Rudra Gita. There are many more. And at the end, Lord Shiva also offers so many benedictions, very, very beautiful benedictions for those who have recited this Rudra Gita. So there is no better day than today to please go through all these verses, recite them, and understand their translations. And if you have time, go through these beautiful purports of Srila Prabhupada, and your day will be very, very auspicious. Thank you all very much. I will end here. It's my joy to share this Bhagavatam with all of you. Any questions or comments? Yes, Hare Krishna, Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for this amazing, amazing class. Such a surprise. It's like a prayer answered. Actually, I wrote about it in my Vandana, and suddenly, out of nowhere, this class was not supposed to be this, but you spoke about. I cannot be more thankful. Thank you, Mataji. My question is, Mataji, this because I have never in my life first time I'm hearing that there is a Rudra Gita. So from which verse to which verse, Mataji, in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is?
Yes. So this starts from, I will give you the reference verses. And before that, I just wanted to see that beautiful book. It looks very attractive and colorful. But all of us, can all of you please just take a look at Mataji's screen?
Sorry, I will just change the. It's a blurred. I don't know. My Yana will do something. Can you all see this?
Yes, we can see it's very colorful and bright. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is yeah, this is where I write my letters to Bhagwan.
Amazing.
Thank
So
you,
beautiful.
Mataji. You have inspired yeah, my letters to Krishna.
Hari Hari. Very nice, very colorful. Very beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks to you, Mataji, because yeah, I have never been into any of this ever in my 47 years of life. It's
All
yeah, it's
good.
guidance and mercy.
It's Sri Srila Prabhupada. So I will tell you the verse numbers, Mataji. This comes in the 4th canto, 24th chapter, titled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. And if you go through the entire chapter, you will get, you can know the background story of the prachetas I was talking about. And yeah, from text 33 onwards, the Rudra Gita starts. 33, and it goes on to, you will be delighted to read these prayers. They are amazing, amazing description of the beauty of the Lord, and more and more unfolds as you keep reading them. Yes. Before telling you, okay, this ends on verse number 78. 78 is the Phalastuti. And the Phalastuti says, a devotee who rises early in the morning and with folded hands chants these prayers sung by Lord Shiva and gives facility to others to hear them certainly becomes free from all bondage to fruitive activities. Yeah. So, and Lord Shiva is telling, the prayers I have recited to you are meant for pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul. I advise you to recite these prayers, which are as effective as great austerities. In this way, when you're mature, your life will be successful. and you will certainly achieve all your desired objectives without fail. Yeah. So these are some of the Falastutis. There are more actually if you read. So this entire chapter is about that. So from verse 33 onwards, he said, a devotee of Lord Krishna whose mind is always absorbed in him, who with great attention and reverence chants this stotra, will achieve the greatest perfection of life without delay. So this is a glory of Ashutosh. Yes, without delay. So till 68. Yeah.
Very,
So,
Mataji. Thank you so much.
yes. So thank you all very much for joining this session. We will meet again next week, same time, and we will continue our prayers offered by Gajendra. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat, Tracy, yes.
Mataji, the last verse that you sang for us. Mataji, which verse is that?
Okay. This comes around 39.
Verse 39.
39.
And Mataji, how do I refer to the Sanskrit shloka?
4.24.39. You just type this on Veda base. You get
Okay,
the
Mataji.
words. I can post it in the group.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat. Hari Bol. Jai.